This week we're going to be making Spanakopita. I feel like I'm butchering it so badly.
This is a Greek savory spinach pie. How do you go about pronouncing it? Spanakopita.
Spanakopita. So it's pastry week, which means it's another week of doing something extremely difficult and literally out of my depth. It's going to be interesting. Now, we're halfway through. How crazy is that? We've done almost 5 of these now. Today will be the 5th one. And I don't know, I've enjoyed it. It's been a real learning curve, a real experience. I just received the message right there. Okay, so it says, good morning. I have an extra fun challenge for you based on the Great British Bake Off Technical Challenge. It's pastry week. You're making Greek Spanakopita. This should be a spiral shaped pie, homemade FILO pastry. It'd be easier to just buy it, really. And I hope you have a particularly long counter and good luck in making it thin. He did not provide me a pasta machine. Was there a pasta machine in the video? Isn't that cheating? Wow, okay, so the ingredients are there, and then the instructions are there. Wow, it's a long one. Okay, we have 2 hours and 30 minutes. Let's crack on. Starting out with all these green ingredients. Now, the first step really is to make the dough. Fairly straightforward. Mix your dry ingredients with your wet ingredient. I really do recommend getting a high quality olive oil and mixing it with your water. Now, you're going to gently combine these two. The water should be slightly warm. Lukewarm, I would recommend. The dough is fairly strange to deal with. It's nothing like your bread doughs or your biscuit doughs. It's kind of in between. You're expecting something soft, but not too mushy. Something that you can actually like play with. Is a bit like Play-Doh, I would recommend. Now, the first few times, it's going to get quite tough. It's so dry. How could that be even the case? Right, okay, so clearly no flour is needed on the surface. But if your one's a little bit wet, add a bit of flour. Apparently I need to knead this now. Great. Trust. Pour to choose the hardest kind of pastry. Couldn't have been like, I don't know, it could be anything, but he chose this one. How touching. It's never a dull moment with this recipe, is there? I'm gonna rest this now. I don't know for how long. We're gonna focus on the filling. While I wait, I'm just gonna hop onto a flight and go to Greece myself. Now, it would be a shame if I didn't go to Greece without trying one of these. And honestly, this one was just filled with feta and it's so delicious. I can't recommend enough to try this. We've got still around about 2 hours and so minutes because that took a little bit longer. And then obviously the filling won't take too long. Now, just reading ahead, just because I kind of need to prepare for when we actually need to play with the pastry. The one thing I've realised is that they want 90 centimetres by 18 centimetres in measurement of the pastry, which I find completely ridiculous. But before that, you need to have a baking paper to lay it out and dust it with cornflour. Let's just talk about this. The length of this is crazy. I don't think my camera can even cover how long this is. That's how long 90 centimetres is. Well, I did a little bit more, just because obviously you're going to have to cover it. 18 centimetres, I don't really know if this is 18 centimetres. I think this is 30 centimetres, I think. They literally don't make it easy. I've just done all the chopping. It's quite tedious, actually. You could blend this, I guess. So I got the onion and garlic in one bowl. And then I've got the actual spices and herbs for it. So nutmeg, lemon, zest, dill and parsley. Those are going to be going next. But what I didn't realise and I didn't cater for was that like the spinach doesn't have a like 900 grams of baby leaf spinach, which if you know right? It's gonna come down to a teaspoon of spinach, let's be honest. Look at this. No one sells a kilo of spinach. I wonder why. I have to buy all of this. Oh, I've got to buy all of these to make 900 grams of spinach. And I think I even then some, because these are not fully 300 grams bag. I've never seen a recipe with this much spinach. I don't think this is allowed or legal. And that's what you get from an almost kilo bag of spinach. Seemed worthwhile in the end, hey? The worst part of this is because it's hot, so it retains more water. Next, the filling. Now the instructions just says mix the ingredients together, but I do want you to pay a special attention to your spinach. Spinach has a high water content, so really do wring that out. But also it's hot, so make sure that it's cooled down so that the feta doesn't melt. But any order doesn't matter. Now next, the rolling out the FILO pastry. I honestly can't explain enough to you how difficult this was. This is when a pasta machine would have been greatly needed. Now I saw some people rolling them together, so I'm going to make all of them the same size like that. And we literally don't have much time. So I'm hoping a lot of elbow grease will help me here. And it looks like my idea isn't as bad as I thought. Hello, can you get any thinner? How ridiculous can you get? This is my first attempt, and honestly it was very testing. You never know the limits of the dough, but as you gradually practice on your second and third attempt, it got easier. I also spaced it out so that I can make the full measurement of 90 centimeters. Now in between each FILO pastry, you've got a layer of butter, which makes that sort of lovely flaky texture. This is the very last one. And next time I'm buying, because I love this dish so much, but it's not worth the hassle it brings. There's a slight, like, narcissistic enjoyment to this. It really does test your patience. But there's something wonderful when you finally get the skin, like this, like the thinness of the skin that you want. We managed to get the full length. There's some minor tears, but it'll work. That's a full length. Now the final few steps will be to add the filling. Add it at the base of your pastry and then roll upwards to get it nice and tight. I want to fill it to pieces, you know. Can't waste anything. A little help here, it's very needed. For me, this is probably the most funnest part because you're starting to see everything assemble together. Now, really, it takes a little bit of patience here because you will need assistance. It's quite heavy, so roll it slowly using any bench scrapers or anything you have. I know we don't have enough time, but let me just close this for a second. But look at this. In all its glory. 90 centimeters of glory there. Gently start rolling. I think that's the only thing I can say really here. Nothing too interesting. Keep it nice and tight. You will see some imperfections here, but honestly, that's the magic of it all. Okay, I don't have a round pan. I'm working with a square pan, just like a pizza basically. How silly of me, honestly. Now the last few steps really is to wash your pastry with an egg and butter mixture, the butter left over from the layering, and then sesame seed. Now sesame seed is so crucial. It's a big component of the Greek sort of pastry, and this kind of like finalizes everything perfectly. You're baking it for around about 45 minutes on 180 degrees. Okay, I can finally say that we're done for today. I'm not gonna lie to you, it has been so stressful. In terms of timing, I definitely did not get it done in the according 2.5 hours. It's just ridiculous. I think without a pasta making pasta making machine, or like some element to speed up the actual like rolling of it, it's not doable in 2.5 hours. Even at home, in my own space, no pressure, no nothing. No. And also because I assume when they're filming, they're gonna get a lot of help, right? Well, at least they've got the setup for the help they need. Now, for me, because it's just me alone who's filming this, it's particularly difficult. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not very fun. I did have fun though. I learnt a new skill and I learnt a new like recipe, so to speak. So I'm not really too upset by it. I think the one thing I am upset about is the fact that I didn't have a round release tin, which would have been so helpful. However, we did make it and I'm really happy about this. I'm so happy. I don't think you guys understand the level of happiness. Oh, let me pick that up again because it's really heavy. Isn't it awesome? Just look at how beautiful that is. It's a little bit square, admittedly, because I had only a square release tin. It's heavy. Despite using phyllo pastry, it's so heavy. I'm scared to tilt it just because it might slide. But there you are. Ooh, that's what I mean. I just think it was just a lot of stress, that's all. And it's a lot of mess. The sort of cornstarch has the ability to stick to anything, and it's like super like sort of static, so it would stick to like things that I didn't think that could be, and I found it in areas where I didn't think it would travel. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you got this far, please use the Greek eye emoji to tell me that you got this far. You guys are a true star baker. Thank you for watching so much. Honestly, it's one of the, I guess, it's a triumph, I admit, but it's not within the time. And I feel like a little bit of a letdown in terms of like trying to compete with that sort of standard of the filming as well. But truly, it's been super, super, super fun doing it. I have now a newfound respect for anyone who makes phyllo dough, or sorry, phyllo pastry from scratch. It's so impressive. It's definitely a skill. And I also don't understand like how the dough can be so strong and yet be the thinnest it can be. That's still really like, I can't wrap my head around that. But finally, every person, especially like the Greek bakeries, if you've ever been to Greece, their bakery is like similar to our McDonald's in terms of like how many you'll find in terms of the branches of bakeries, whether it was like branches or their own like sort of mama and pop store sort of style of bakery. It's impressive because a lot of them are making these from scratch. A lot of them are filling it from scratch, making it like by hand. It's so impressive. I'm pretty sure it's the most easiest thing that you've ever done, but to me, there's just so much respect for them. And I have been to Greece, and honestly, their pastries are so delicious, and I can only imagine how delicious this would be. I'm going to tuck in now, and of course, as always, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for watching. I know I said I'm going to finish filming. Okay, here it is in all its glory. Give it a taste test. It's falling apart. It's proper. Look at the layers. All that rolling. It worked. It worked wonders. And it tastes so good. All that layers. I literally got a date with this one. The Greeks know how to eat.